can go ahead.
Today is from text 12, right, Mataji? So, okay.
Yes, Mataji. 12 to 22.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dheerayat Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 12. My Lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods who arrange for your worship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but you are but who are full of material hankerings. You are situated in everyone's heart as a super soul to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable for the non-devotees. Text 13. But the pious activities of the people, such as the performance of Vedic rituals, charity, austere penances, and transcendental service performed with a view to worship you and satisfy you by offering you the fruitive results, are also beneficial. Such acts of religion never go in vain. Text 14. Let me offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Transcendence, who is eternally distinguished by his eternal potency. His indistinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self-realization. I offer my obeisances unto him who, by his pastimes, enjoy the creation, maintenance, and the dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. Text 15. Let me take shelter of the lotus feet of him whose incarnation qualities and activities are mysterious imitation of worldly affairs. One who invokes his transcendental names even unconsciously at the time he quits this life is certainly washed immediately of the sins of many births and attains him without fail. The text 16, your lordship is the prime root of the tree of the planetary systems. This tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in three trunks, as me, Shiva, and you, and the Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution, and we three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you, the tree of the cosmic manifestation. Text 17. People in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the really beneficial activities enunciated directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish works remain powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will be cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisances unto him who acts as eternal time. Text 18. Your your lordship, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who indefatigable. Sorry. Your lordship, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are in indefatigable time and the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Although I am situated in an abode which will continue to exist for a time duration of two Paradas, although I am the leader of all um, other planets in the universe, and although I have undergone many years of penances for self-realization, still I offer my respects unto you. Text 19. O my Lord, by your own will, you appear in the various species of living entities, although animals lower than human beings, as well as among the demigods, to perform your transcendental pastimes. You are not affected by material contamination. You come just to fulfill the obligations of your own principles of religion, and therefore, O Supreme Personality, I offer my obeisances unto you for manifesting such different forms. Text 20. My Lord, you accept the pleasures of sleeping in the water of devastation, where there are violent waves, and you enjoy pleasure on the bed of snakes, showing the happiness of your sleep to intelligent persons. At the time, all the universal planets are stationed within your abdomen. Text 21. O object of my worship, I am born from the house of your lotus navel, and for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. All these planets of the universe were stationed within your transcendental abdomen while you were enjoying sleep. Now, your sleep having ended, your eyes are open like blossoming lotuses in the morning. Text 22. Let the Supreme Lord be merciful toward me. He is the one friend and soul of all living entities in the world, and he maintains all for their ultimate happiness by his six transcendental opulences. May he be merciful toward me, so that I, as before, may be empowered with the introspections to create, for I am also one of the surrendered souls who are dear to the Lord. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance.
Thank you so much,
Deity
Mataji.
devotees.
Krishna and Prabhuji, please take over.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Mataji, is it okay if I share? Hare Krishna, Mataji, are you able to hear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, is it okay if I share the screen, Mataji?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me do. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Paramapamani Mataji, for reading the translations. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 9th chapter, slokas 12 to 22. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschaptadeshtarani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktaranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So just to give a background, in the previous chapter, we see Maitreya Muni appreciated Vidura asking so many questions, which are very wonderful. That leads Maitreya Muni to narrate this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam. So what he heard from his guru or through Parampara system. So he explains how Lord Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu lying down on the Garbhodaka water. And then from him, his navel, a lotus flower comes. And on top of that, Lord Brahma appears. Then Lord Brahma, not knowing the origin of his, he starts searching out, and then he's unsuccessful. Then he hears the two syllables tapa, and then he starts doing meditation. Then Lord Vishnu reveals his form and abode. So then in this chapter, we see that Lord Brahma is offering many wonderful prayers to Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and he humbly requests Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu to empower him and to guide him in creating this universe. So far we see up to slokas 12. So in those slokas, Lord Brahma prayed that he is the superior to everyone. Excuse me. So how he is the superior to everyone? He is Sachidananda, and then he is situated in the heart of the devotees, and anyone who doesn't take the shelter of the Supreme Lord, they will go through the anxieties and engage in inauspicious activities like that. So in today's, we'll start from slokas 12. And in the sloka 12, we see that Lord Brahma is praying to Supreme Lord Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu that is not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods, even though they arrange very pompously with various paraphernalia, because they have full of material hankerings. And even though he's situated as a super soul in everyone's heart, but he is unavailable for the non-devotees. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so the demigods in the upper planetary system, so they are the appointed administrators to manage this whole universe. They are also devotees of the Supreme Lord, but at the same time they have material desires for sense gratification. So of course Krishna is very merciful. So because they have material hankerings, Krishna also awards them. Yathamam prapadyante tam statam bhajamyam, like that. Because they approach Krishna with some material desires, so Krishna also awards them. Prabhupada mentions that actually Krishna awards them with more material opulence than they can desire of. So, but still Krishna is not satisfied with them because they are not pure devotees. So why Krishna is not satisfied? Because Krishna wants all of us, like all his innumerable sons. He don't want them, all of us, in this to remain in this material world, going through the miseries, like janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam, or adhyatmika adi bhautika adi daivika miseries. So all these sufferings, he don't want us to go through all these things. So he wants all of us to come back to the spiritual world and experience the unlimited happiness all the time. See how Krishna is so merciful, like, so he's thinking about our welfare, Shuhurdam. Even we don't think ourselves that much. So, but Krishna is thinking our welfare all the time. So, of course, not only the demigods, even many devotees in this earth planet also, they approach Krishna. They do worship Krishna, but at the same time, they have many material hankerings. Of course, I'm talking to myself also. And Prabhupada mentioned this is very risky. So why it is risky? Because there is a chance of falling down to the lower status. And that's why Krishna is dissatisfied. Because when somebody has material hankerings, it is possible that so they may do some inauspicious thing and they will fall down into the lower status, less than the human beings. So, and they will go through so much suffering. And Krishna, as a kind father, he is unhappy with that or dissatisfied. So that's why Krishna, even though demigods, they arrange a pompous worship with various paraphernalia, is not happy because they are full of material anchorings. And we see this actually in the pastime of Govardhan Hill, right? So when Lord Indra realized his mistake, so keeping Mother Surabhi cow in front with many other demigods, they come and they do elaborated arati with so many wonderful paraphernalia. So Krishna accepts it, but at the same time, is not very much satisfied because it's not, they don't have the pure devotion. So mixed devotees. Of course, it is better to have a devotion, even though it is mixed, instead of not having any devotion at all. But Krishna is looking for the pure devotion. So also he's not happy or satisfied, even though they performed the great worship. But at the same time, the cowherd boys using that same paraphernalia and they do a funny arti, the mock-up. But Krishna is very pleased with them because they have pure devotion. And we see that in even the pastime of Mahabharata, like, when Krishna, as a peace messenger, when he goes to Hastinapur on behalf of Pandavas to do the sandhi, the friendship between Kauravas and Pandavas. And Duryodhana receives Krishna he does a grand welcome and he requests Krishna to stay in his palace. He prepared so many wonderful food items like that. But Krishna did not choose that. Instead, he went to Vidra's house. So because Duryodhana and party, they doesn't have a love and devotion. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Even somebody offers a flower, a leaf, or fruit, or water. If it is offered with pure love and devotion, then he will accept it. But if somebody who doesn't have a devotion, but they offer very opulent things, he is not going to be accepted. So he's not satisfied. Of course, definitely better than doing any devotion, doing little devotion with many material hankerings is better. But Krishna is looking the devotee not to stuck at the place of with many material hankerings and at the same time continue the devotion. So he's looking all of us to step up and then take up the pure devotion so that we can become, it's for our benefit only, so that we can be promoted to the spiritual world and then Brahma Saukyam Anantam, like, we can experience unlimited happiness. And Prabhupada mentions that in the purport that if the Lord is sitting in everyone's head as super soul, so why some of them are not becoming devotees? And Prabhupada mentions that because they're very stubborn and they don't want to take up Krishna consciousness. So because each and every living entity has that minute free will, Krishna is not interfering in that. So that's why they are continuing as a non-devotees. And Prabhupada mentions sometimes he'll say that, pointing a cartoon where wife is asking husband, chant, chant, chant. But this husband is saying, can't, because he is very stubborn not to take up Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada gives analogy in the purport that, when the land is barren, then you cannot do any farming. So the crop cannot come. So similarly, even though Krishna is situated as a super soul in everybody's heart, so some of them, they're very stubborn and they're not taking up the process of bhakti. So for them, Krishna is unavailable. So in the text 13, we see that the pious activities of the people, like Vedic rituals, charity, austere penances, they're all so very beneficial if it is to please Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. Those kind of acts, they will not go in vain. So if one performs any Vedic rituals, charity, austerity, so with an intention of pleasing Krishna, Supreme Lord, then so that will give wonderful results. So and it's perfect, and it is in the line of devotion service, and they will not go vain. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Neha vikramana sosti pratyavyo na vidyate. Like, in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. In fact, even if somebody does little bit, so it will save them from big danger. Swalpamapasya dharmasya trayato mato bhayat. So even if one is not able to complete, become pure devotees, at least whatever they have done, it will stay, it will remain like that. And in the next life, they will be placed in a either rich family or in a devotee family. Suchinam Srimate Gehe, Yoga Prasto Abhijayate, like that. So whatever they have done, it doesn't go in vain. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport that people who are not willing to take up the pure devotional service, so these kind of activities are very good. They're better, because these pious activities will one day result in full-fledged devotional service. So therefore, Prabhupada mentions that in this sloka, it is recommended for those people who are not able to take up the pure devotional service, so to perform all these things also. So in the text 14, we see that Lord Brahma is praying that Supreme Lord is eternally distinguished by his internal potency. So is an impersonal feature released by intelligence for self-realization. So by intelligence for self-realization. So he enjoys the creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Like Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so the distinction between the Lord and the living entity, so will be experienced when one has the sufficient knowledge. So one can understand the Supreme Lord, the difference between the Supreme Lord and the living entity when they have the sufficient intelligence for self-realization. So otherwise it is very difficult to understand. And then Prabhupada mentions that how Krishna enjoyed with many wonderful of his devotees, gopis, in the rasa dance. So similarly here Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, so he also enjoys creation, maintenance, and dissolution through his external potency. And in the text 15, we see that Krishna, with many incarnations and qualities, activities, so they are mysterious imitations of worldly affairs. But whoever invokes his transcendental names, even unconsciously, at that time he quits this life, so he is certainly washed immediately of all the sins, many, many births. And also he will attain Krishna without fail. So this is very wonderful. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so when Krishna comes in this material world, like when he comes as a Lord Ramchandra, so all his activities seems to be imitation of worldly affairs. Like he acts as a normal human being. Of course, once in a while he may show wonderful activities, but generally many of his activities seems to be imitations of the worldly affairs. So generally how a human being performs activities, similarly it looks like that. And Prabhupada gives analogy like that, so in the drama, so an actor, even though he is not a king, he acts as a king on the stage. So similarly, when Krishna comes into this material world also, so he imitates the activities of a worldly affairs, like a normal person. And Prabhupada points, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, am I right? So name karma phalasproha, he says that, there is, Krishna is not aspiring for the fruits of action. And at the same time, there is no work that affects him. So, and another wonderful point here, we see that here. So Krishna's transcendental names, even unconsciously, if somebody chants his name at the time of leaving the body, so all his sins will be washed out and he will go back home, back to Godhead. And Prabhupada gives example, the Ajamila, in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, am I right? So he remembered he chanted the holy name Lord Narayana, because he called his son, whose name is Narayana. So at the time of leaving the body, so when Yamadutas came, so that's why all his sins are washed out, and he was given another opportunity to achieve the highest perfection of the life. So unconsciously, then what to speak of if somebody is chanting unconsciously? So we can see how much benefit one would get if somebody chants consciously. So that's why the Prabhupada gave this process where we can remember Krishna, or we can chant Krishna, and we can perform all our activities keeping Krishna in the center throughout the whole life. So there is a great possibility that so we can able to remember Krishna's holy name or Krishna's form, Krishna's activities when we are quitting the body in this life. Then we can go back home, back to Godhead. So antekale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram. Like at the time of leaving the body, if we remember, then we definitely go back home, back to God without fail. And that is the success of the human life. So no more birth and death, or no more suffering like that. So in the text 16, we see that Krishna is the tree of the whole planet systems. And he expanded himself to Lord Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that this whole cosmic, this universe is divided into 3 planetary systems, like upper, lower, middle, like that. Of course, in a broader way, it is divided into 14 planetary systems, but it's all under the working under the direction of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam, like that, working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. And here it's mentioned the Gunavatar of Krishna, like Lord Brahma for creation, and Lord Vishnu for maintenance, and Lord Shiva as the annihilation. And in the text 17, Lord Brahma is saying that people who foolishly engages which are not beneficial for them. And as long as they are like that, whatever the plans that they're doing, so they will be cut into pieces because they will be taken away everything by the eternal time. And Prabhupada also mentions like when man plans and God disposes it. So we may plan many things for our future, and if it is not in the plan of Krishna, so all of them will be disposed. So they will go away because Krishna has his own plan. But Krishna wants us to follow his plan. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam charanam raja. So when we surrender to Krishna and follow his instructions, then we will get ultimate benefit. So, but until then, somebody is trying to do some planning for their future things without connecting to Krishna consciousness, then all will be taken away by the powerful time. And in the text 18, so we see that here, Lord Brahma is praying that even though Lord Brahma, he exists for a long period of time, 2 pararthas, and he is the leader of all the planets. Still he is offering his respects unto the Supreme Lord. So we see that when we compare our life duration with Brahma's time, so we are very tiny. Now, Brahma's one day itself is a Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, 1,000 Mahayugas. And we live only 100 years. The 1,000 Mahayugas means many billions of years of this earthly planet. And he is the leader of the planets and he has a great knowledge. Still, we see that, he's very humble and offering prayers to the Supreme Lord. So then what to speak of us? We are very, very tiny. So instead of being puffed up with the tiny knowledge or the tiny positions or the tiny life duration that we have, if we turn towards Krishna and offer prayers to him and follow the directions that are given by acharyas, then we become successful. And then the text 19, we see that Krishna appears in a different various living entities, just not only the human beings, animals or the demigods, and he performs many wonderful pastimes. So he comes to fulfill, to establish the principles of religions like that, So we see that, Krishna appears in the animal living entities like Matsya Avatara, Kurma Avatara, like that. In the human beings as Lord Ramachandra, Parshurama, and in the demigods, the heavenly planets as Vamandev, Ajita, Hari, like that. So there are many wonderful pastimes performed with various incarnations. All is to re-establish the Dharma. Dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge, like that. And also all these pastimes are very attractive. So Krishna performs all this so that so when we hear or when we chant this, remember these pastimes, then we become attracted to Krishna and then we go back home, back to Godhead. And in the text 20, we see that, the wonderful or greatness of the Supreme Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So he's sleeping on the water of the devastation. So even though there are violent waves and he's on the bed of the snakes, but he's showing happiness on your sleep. So, yeah. So Lord Brahma is glorifying the powerful or greatness of Lord Vishnu here. So the devastation water is very violent waves, but still Lord Vishnu is happily sleeping. In the text 21, we see that so Lord Brahma is saying that he is born from the lotus navel that came from the lotus flower that appear from the lotus navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu for the purpose of creating the universe. And at that time, only Lord Brahma appeared, and then all the universes they are stationed in the transcendental abdomen of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And now his sleep is ended, and he opened eyes. So Lord Brahma is offering prayers before Lord Vishnu is woke up. So similarly, we also wake up very early and then open the curtains of our home deity and offer the Harati and prayers and then chant our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, prescribed rounds that we are doing it. And then the text 22, Lord Brahma is praying that he is the friend and soul of all living entities, and he maintains all of us for our ultimate happiness. And he has the 6 transcendental opulence. So he's requesting to be merciful towards him and empower him for the purpose of the creation. And he's also saying that one of the surrender soul who are dear to the Lord. So it's so many wonderful points here, like Krishna is the well-wisher of everyone. Shurdam Sarva Bhutana. So one who knows this, Gnatva Mam Shanti Mrichati. So they will become very peaceful and relieved from the stress and anxieties. And he's maintaining all of us. So we should show gratitude, turning towards him, because he's maintaining all of us and pray to him every day. And here we see that, he has the 6 transcendental appellations. And Parasar Muni also tells him, right? He has the all rich, all beauty, all strength, all fame, all knowledge, and all renunciations. That's why he's the Supreme Lord. And he's requesting, Lord Brahma is requesting to be merciful towards him. so that he can be empowered and for the purpose of creation. So that's also service to the Supreme Lord. So similarly, we can also turn towards Krishna and offer our prayers and request Krishna to be merciful on us, and then help us to progress in the process of Krishna consciousness for our ultimate happiness, so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. So I'll pause it here. So tomorrow we will continue going through the Lord Brahma's prayers of next set of the slokas. So thank you all for joining. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai.
Vishnu Prabhuji ki jai. Vancha kalpitara prasya priti sindhya vicham patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for beautiful prayers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us.
Hare Krishna.